Welcome to another edition of Big Ten Spotlight. It is Deon Thomas, the all-time leading scorer in Illinois Fighting Illini history. I am Aaron York, just another fan riding that Penn State roller coaster. It has certainly been a week of high and lows for me. And we've got a lot going on in the Big Ten as the action heats up. We're in late January. We're starting to speculate a little bit on the bubble, which teams are in, which teams are out. And maybe the biggest development happened, Deon, with your Fighting Illini, Terrence Shannon Jr. Suspension lifted. I thought before he might be done for the whole season. A judge thought otherwise. A U.S. district judge overruled the suspension. Now he is back in the court, and Illinois won against Rutgers handily. So how do we feel about Illinois now? We thinking natty? We thinking national championship? This is a really great development for them on the court.
Well, I mean, Illinois basketball, I thought, was always in that race for the national championship. You have to look at them as one of the teams that are right there. And of course, with Terrence being back on the court, it's huge. I mean, just think about it. They went 4-2 when he wasn't there, with a close loss to Purdue and another very close loss after that. So this is a team that I think is very well balanced, very well poised to be able to make a deep run in March. And when you have someone on the court like that just puts so much pressure on the defense, especially in transition, where he's one of the best two-way players in the country, to be able to put that type of pressure on teams, to shoot it the way he does at over 40% a clip right about now. Well, missed a couple in the last game, so it may have dropped a little bit. But, you know, it's averaging 21 points. It's excellent on the rebounds. But what he does is do a great job of shutting them down the other team's best. So it'll be interesting to see coming up there. They got a game coming up, of course, Wednesday against Northwestern. I know we're going to talk about them a little later. But you can't talk about Illinois without talking about Marcus Damask and the way the doctor has played. MD, for those that didn't catch that. You know, the way the doctor has played since arriving in Champaign, the way Quincy Guerre has played since he's arrived in Champaign. He's averaging he has 8 double-doubles now on the season. I didn't see the rebounding that he's shown when he was in Oregon that he's showing now. But it's great to see him go to the boards, especially on that weak side. And then, of course, Coleman Hawkins, who has really picked up his play since coming off, I wouldn't say a knee injuries, because that wouldn't be the exact way it was described, or that I would describe it. The knee tendonitis, I guess, is the way they described it. The way he's played since he's been back, with the exception of that Maryland game, has been nothing but lights out. He did it again in the Rutgers game. And like you mentioned, you know, this is a team that could possibly compete for that national championship. It all depends on your matchups, you know, who you get, where they send you. I do know one thing, that Illini Nation is going to travel wherever this team is. The stadium is going to almost feel like a home game. So it'll be interesting to see how they, you know, continue moving forward.
Yeah, I think there's a chance, and They did lose that game at Purdue with Shannon Jr. out. They also lost at home against Maryland. That was a game where they were favored to win even without Shannon Jr., and they really could have used him in that game. But other than that, they looked pretty good. They got that big win over Michigan State. Yeah. And then Shannon Jr. comes back, and he's getting downhill. He's getting to the line against Rutgers. He scores 16 points with 4 assists, and he came off the bench in his comeback game. So he only played 28 minutes. And yeah, I agree with you. I like what everyone was doing in his absence. I think it allowed guys like Damask and Guerrier to shine. Coleman Hawkins, he in his last few games, he's done so much. He's done a little bit of everything. He's like a Swiss Army knife with the way he's racking up steals, and he uses long arms to block shots. He can also hit the three. He can do so much. And with Shannon Jr. out of the lineup, he was just one of the guys who was able to step up. And that's why this Illinois team, they've got so much potential. They've got so much potential, and there's so much that they can do to put pressure on you, whether it's the mask, backing guys down, getting within 15 feet, and he's really dangerous once he gets that close to the basket.
Yeah. He's a killer when he gets down there, boy. But, I love the way you brought up Coleman. There's one other player that we definitely cannot forget about, and two more, and that's Justin Harmon and Ty Rogers. Justin Harmon and Ty Rogers. I mean, even Justin in the last game led Illinois in scoring with 18. I mean, those two guys, and that's what I believe is the really the determining factor. When Dame Danger's on the court, he's extremely effective, both offensively, defensively, and on the glass. The depth of this team is where they're dangerous. I mean, they can easily go 10 deep. Nico Moretti being back, who's an excellent pure point guard, who's came back off of the ankle injury. The young Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, who will be an explosive player for Illinois, along with Amani Hansberry. I mean, they can literally go 10 deep if necessary. And I think that's what could propel them moving forward. Yes, TSJ, the Doctor, and Q, and the Hulk are the heads of your snake. But
man, who are you calling the Hulk? Who's the Hulk? I don't even know who the Hulk is.
The Hawk. Hawk.
Oh, Hawk.
I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, he's not built like the Hulk. He's more like
Chicago,
he's the Hawk.
Man. No, he is not built like the Hulk. He's built more like Stretch Armstrong.
Yes. That's another. Yeah, maybe we'll start calling him Stretch Armstrong.
Or Mr. Wonder. Mr. What was it? The Final Four, the Fantastic Four guy. Whatever.
He's Mr. Fantastic. Yes, he has been fantastic. He has been fantastic lately. Yes.
I might have to use that when I'm on the call tomorrow.
Love it. Yeah, let's do it. We'll get Big Ten Spotlight a little bump when you start using those nicknames on the air. I love that. Yes. And
we talked about that. Our next topic actually flows right into. I know Northwestern has a game today, but the next big game for them, for Illinois, is Northwestern, coming up on Wednesday. So that leads us into the next topic, as you mentioned about bubble teams. What do you think?
I like Northwestern right now. ESPN has Northwestern as a 9 seed. It's going to be a big showdown because Northwestern really needs this win to solidify their status. That game is coming up on Wednesday night and is in Northwestern. We saw Northwestern, they were blown out in Champaign. So but Northwestern, a team, plays much better in the friendly confines of Welsh Ryan Arena. They already have beaten Purdue there. They've beaten Michigan State there. Those are the two big pegs on their tournament resume, but they also have a very weak non-conference schedule and that horrible, no good, terrible nightmare loss to Chicago State. That is just going to be an anchor as this team tries to lift itself into the NCAA tournament. And if the tournament started today, they would be there. So they're in great shape, but they missed a big opportunity at Nebraska. Yeah. Nebraska just looked like they wanted to give that game away. They turned the ball over 18 times, but Northwestern, a rare bad shooting night when Boo Buie and Ty Berry only combined. They were really bad shooting the ball. They combined to go 4 for like 20 or something. And when those two guys aren't making shots, even though Brooks Barnheiser had a great game, it's tough for Northwestern. And they tied that game 65-65 with 4 minutes left, and it was anybody's game. But Keisei Tominaga, the most dangerous shooter in the conference, he hit a huge shot to put away at Northwestern. That would have been a huge, huge road win for them. So Nebraska 4-0 now against the Big Ten at home, and they have not played just the bottom of the league. They took down Purdue at home. So Nebraska, such a tough team to beat in Lincoln. Northwestern was that close. They could have had it, but there are more opportunities down the road, and it starts with this game against Illinois. So that is one to really look forward to because Northwestern's got so much on the line, and every game with their position in the NCAA tournament, and every game is going to mean so much for Northwestern.
Well, the plus for Northwestern is that they're going to have an opportunity to get a lot quad one wins. And this one starting today not today, I'm sorry, Wednesday with Illinois. They're going to have a really great opportunity to beat a top 10 ranked team. Now, do I believe that's going to happen? I got to be honest. I'm not being a homer or anything like that. I just don't believe they match up with Illinois very well. Their games in Welsh Ryan, they don't allow fans of Illinois to buy tickets at Welsh Ryan, if you can believe that. Because they consider that a rivalry, and they understand that.
But you don't consider it a rivalry. Illinois looks down their nose at Northwestern.
I mean, come on now. We've been beating on them since they came into since the Big Ten was formed and they came in. No, it's not. It's not.
Those are the relationships that make college sports great. When you have big brother and little brother, yeah.
I agree 100%. But their former athletic director, who is an Illini, Jim Phillips, who's now the commissioner of the ACC. Their then athletic director, he's the one that came up with this whole Chicago's Big Ten team. And it rubs Illinois people raw.
Oh! If I was an Illinois fan, it'd drive me crazy.
Rub them raw, including myself.
Yeah.
Being from Chicago, I know that coaching staff really well. So when I see them, I give them shit all the time. I'm like, you do realize you're not even in Chicago.
They are on the not the metro. They're on like the L. They're all the way at the end of that metro line.
Bro, you're in the suburbs. You're not in Chicago. Your address says Evanston, Illinois. It does not say Chicago, Illinois. So you're not in Chicago. You don't have a player on your team that's in Chicago. None of your coaching staff and I love those guys. None of them are from Chicago. So how could you, quite frankly, be Chicago's Big Ten team? And I'd love to see their acceptance rate of people from Chicago. I mean, let's hit it all the way around, man.
Yes.
No, but you mentioned that game, on a more serious note. You mentioned that game in Lincoln. That would have been a huge win for them on the road, because I believe at the end of the day, Nebraska's going to make it to the NCAA tournament. Yeah. They've had some really good wins. They have an opportunity to pick up some more quad one wins. As you mentioned, they're tough as hell to beat in Lincoln, but you can't have your two best players go 4 for 25. Brooks Barnheiser scoring 20 plus points is not going to win for you. Ryan Langhorne scoring in double figures for you is not going to win you a big game. You have to have Boo Boo. You have to have Ty Berry, because they're just that good. But this is where I believe the issue in this matchup comes to fruition. The Illinois guards are bigger, stronger, more athletic. And then Illinois is able to defend and stay with the wings and the pivots and the post. So it's a tough matchup for Northwestern, but Northwestern, like you said, has been really good at home. And at home, over the last year or so, they beat Illinois. It's been tough sledding for Illinois up in Welsh Ryan. So this is a game that they could win. So this is a game that Illinois cannot sleep on. And they have to understand that this is an opportunity for them to beat another team that's be in the NCAA tournament. So they'll pick up another quad one win. I mean, right now, Northwestern's at 13-5. They will definitely have a 20-win season. So they'll be in the tournament. So Illinois can't sleep. Northwestern can't sleep. I think it's going to be a rock fight, because I don't believe in 30-point wins in the Big Ten, because it happens so seldomly. Yeah. So this is definitely going to be a heck of a game coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't think Illinois is going to be sleeping on them. I think you might step in there and give the guys a pep talk about this rivalry with Northwestern. So I like that. I love the fire coming out of you when we talk about the Northwestern against Illinois. And
I get to the Iowa game. Woo-hoo, you want to hear.
Love it. And I got that wrong before. Northwestern, they have as a 10 seed on ESPN. Nebraska is the 9 seed. That might have been flipped if that result in Lincoln went the other way. But right now, Nebraska is a little bit farther, a little bit safer because they didn't lose to Chicago State. And like you said, that Illinois game, Illinois probably going to be Illinois against Northwestern. Illinois is probably going to be a slight favorite. I like that. If they can defend those guards, they have a good chance to win. Maybe I'll put a couple shekels on that one. Depending on the lines don't come out until the day before, so we'll see. But I expect it to be close, just like you, and that is going to be one of the most exciting games of the week. So now we can get into another team that's in the NCAA tournament field. It's been rising up the ranks. They got off to a slow start this season, but last few games have gone pretty well. They picked up 2 wins in their last 2 against Minnesota and at Maryland, which just happened on Sunday, and they are Michigan State. Michigan State, high expectations coming to this season. They did plenty to lower those expectations. Starting right off the bat when they lost to James Madison, lost to Duke. They start off Big Ten season 0-2 with loss to Wisconsin and Nebraska. But lately, they've been much better, and a key factor has been forcing turnovers and getting out in transition. And Tyson Walker, we know how he can shoot. We know how he can score, but 8 steals in the last 2 games, and he is so dangerous when they are out in the open floor. They won the turnover battle 19-5 at home against Minnesota. That allowed them to pull ahead and win 76-66, with Walker scoring 12 key points in the final 4 minutes when that was a close game up until the last few minutes. And then Michigan State pulled away. And then that nip and tuck close game that came down to the final possession at College Park, Michigan State won the turnover battle 18-8. And in a 2-point game, that makes more than a difference. That was pretty much how they won the game, was forcing turnovers, getting out in transition. They built a lead. Maryland came back. Michigan State able to hang on thanks to some key buckets by A.J. Hoggard. And this is a team that's worth discussing because they look like they're finally playing up to their potential. They haven't beaten any of the top teams lately. Their 3-game winning streak against Rutgers and Minnesota at home, and then at Maryland. And they have this big game against Wisconsin coming up. Wisconsin, they already lost to in East Lansing. Now on Friday night, standalone game. Every college basketball fan in the country is probably going to be watching this game on Friday night because it's the only big game on Friday night. And they're in Madison, and they have a chance to show that Sparty's back. And that it really is, like John Rothstein says, it really is January, February Izzo, and that they are ready to make a run past to the Sweet 16 and beyond. So I think we're going to learn a lot about Michigan State when they play Wisconsin. But what have your impressions been about this improvement they've made over the past couple of weeks?
Well, the Badgers have always been a team that is built on consistency, built on not beating themselves. They continue to scratch, claw, and at every possession that they play in. So I'm not surprised. They had all of the technical things and all of the base was really set from last year's team. And then they went out and brought in who I found to be a terrific scorer in AJ Storr. He gives them that go-to guy when Klesmit or Hepburn aren't playing up to their level, or even Stephen Crow, who's normally Mr. Consistent. He gives them a legitimate, bona fide dude that can go out and get you 20, 25 points a game. That's what he does. And this is why one of the reasons I think this Badger team is really tough. And one of the things that goes a little bit unnoticed, we talk about the freshman of the year in the Big Ten and the freshman of the week and the freshman of this. 3-time freshman of the week player out of Detroit, whose father is a Fighting Illini and played in Illinois in the early to mid 80s, John Blackwell.
Yeah, he's been great lately.
This young man has been lights out. And we were on our Illinois basketball player. Oh my God, I don't want to say Twitter. It's not what I'm thinking. Text line. So we're all texting on John's first game, and when he played, and he played so well, and of course, a lot of those guys from the Flying Illini team was like, he should have been in Illinois. Should have been in Illinois. No, the kid should go to school where he wants to go to school. I understand the legacy. I would have loved to have seen him in orange and blue, especially being the kid of an Illini player. But he has to go to where he's comfortable. And this young man is comfortable right where he is, averaging 9 points a game, 3 rebounds a game. He's almost an assist a game. He's been a welcomed piece to that team, and I'm sure Coach Gard is glad that they landed him because this young man has, and as a matter of fact, he looks like his dad too, which is even crazier, just with longer hair. Back in the day, we didn't wear dreads.
Yeah.
So, his dad Glenn had a nice high and tight fade, and the young Blackwell has the long hair going. Yeah. But this young man's toughness, his speed, his quickness, his athleticism, his ability to shoot the basketball has been a blessing for this team. I mean, shooting over 50% from three, man. And his dad had a nice jump shot, too. I know I keep referencing going back and forth. They're different players. His dad played the point guard, also had a really nice jump shot. But I think John is more dynamic in the things that he could do on the court. And he has been a huge addition to what they do. And I think that has led them to be where they are right now, sitting at the top of the Big Ten, 1 win clear of both Illinois and Purdue.
Yeah, Blackwell's been huge. I think I like how he attacks the basket as well, because Wisconsin always such a good jump shooting team, and they could use more players that can get to the basket. And I think that's what's helped him get on the floor so much as a freshman, is that he gives Wisconsin something that it doesn't have a lot of. Yep. And yeah, I'm glad you brought him up, because we were talking about Owen Freeman last week and what he's doing for Iowa, and I think Blackwell's been the only one getting in the way of Owen Freeman sweeping all the freshmen of the week. So he's done a great job. And this game on Friday night, a standalone game that everyone can watch, it is just going to be fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to see if Michigan State can prove itself. It's the biggest chance for Michigan State to get a really big win since they beat Baylor in Detroit back in December, and that was another point of their transition look on display, as they just boat raced a really good Baylor team with turnovers and with transition buckets. Yeah. And Wisconsin, they protect the ball so well. So is Michigan State going to be able to force some turnovers and get into transition? With that game being in the Kohl Center and with the way Wisconsin plays, it is going to be a tough matchup for Michigan State.
I'm looking forward to that game.
Yes.
You're right. You made a statement earlier about Izzo being February, March Izzo. And that I remember that took me back to when we were talking about quads and where we rank these teams in the Big Ten and which quad, and I put Michigan State in that first quad, and it's specifically because of this time. Tom Izzo figures out a way. His team seems like they begin to understand what he wants and what he's looking for, and they play with that same type of intensity. This is going to be a fight. I mean, a heavyweight championship bout in the Kohl Center. Can Michigan State go in there and win? Yes. Anytime you got a Tyson Walker on your team with the leader that he is, and Hogard and those other guys, they're gonna take this team down to the wire. This will be a dogfight. And then we talk about matchups. Again, other than Tyson Walker, these are bigger guards and forwards at Michigan State. Michigan State does a great job of pounding you on the glass. It's kind of that Tom Izzo way. And then they play really quickly once they obtain those rebounds. Can Wisconsin keep up with them? I believe yes. Wisconsin is more athletic than they have been in the past. I think Coach Gard has gone up against Coach Izzo enough to understand how he's going to play and the things that he's going to do, it's going to boil down to who makes baskets. And I know that, the fans might be like, of course it does.
Yes, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Of course it does. The team with the highest score at the end wins. But you got to understand, each of those baskets are going to be very hotly contested and defended. Who can play through that contact? Who can play through that pressure and score are going to be the ones that win this game. Michigan State defends the three. Wisconsin likes to shoot the three, but they also get to the rack. So this is a little bit different of a Wisconsin team that has been in the past. So, does the old formula of Michigan State work, beat you down on the glass, get out in transition, or does the newfangled Badger way win where you can get out in transition, but yet you still shoot the ball and do the things you want? It's a toss-up. I'm sure Wisconsin is the favorite at home. I don't know what the spread is, and since I work in college sports, I don't talk spreads. I don't talk spreads. That is none of my business. But this is going to be a doggone good game. And what could be Michigan State's crutch is the fact that they turned the ball over far too much. But you tend to do that when you're playing fast. So Wisconsin's not going to give you opportunities to beat them. Can Michigan State limit their opportunities that they give you to beat them? That's going to be the telltale.
Yeah, it's going to be a big test on Michigan State's half-court offense if they can't get out in transition. And can Malik Hall, can they win this grinded-out game with Malik Hall getting the ball in the post and Tyson Walker playing more of a half-court game? And when you're doing that half-court, it's just harder to find open shots than when you're out in transition. So I think it's going to be a big test for Michigan State. I think Wisconsin has the edge because of their style of play, and obviously the Kohl Center is a huge factor in that one, and the fact that they already handled Michigan State back in December. They won in East Lansing. So that is the one to look forward to, although Wisconsin has to be careful because they are at Minnesota coming up tonight, Tuesday night. So they do have a game before Michigan State that they have to be careful of because it's always tough to win on the road. It's always tough to win at the barn. But either way, it's going to be a really good one on Friday night, and there's a lot of great action this week. Ohio State's playing at Lincoln. Ohio State has been booted by the experts from the tournament field. They need to fight their way back in, and you got that Illinois Northwestern game we talked about. So much happening. Purdue's playing at Rutgers on Sunday on Fox as a New Jersey resident, not used to seeing Rutgers on a big nationally televised game. So that's going to be exciting, especially for the local fans.
What happens when you play Purdue? That's what happens when you play Purdue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Purdue factor is big, but I with Rutgers playing the way they have the last few years under Steve Peichel, I think that also played a role in getting that national television. But yeah, everyone wants to see Zach Edey against Cliff Omoruyi is going to be the main event on Sunday. That'll be a nice lead into football. So lots of going on. This is Big Ten Spotlight. It is B1G Spotlight. It is on YouTube, on Apple, on Spotify. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review on Apple. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and you can follow us on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. He is Deon Thomas 25. I am Aaron P. York, and thank you so much for listening, watching, however you follow us. Enjoy the Big Ten basketball this week. Peace out.